Hey everyone, welcome to the reading for today. We're going to see what you guys need to know right now. It's a collective reading, okay, so it could be past, present, or future. You're going to know best how it resonates on your timeline. If you'd like a personal reading, I have those open again, okay? There's a limited amount on my website available. That is down in the description box if you are interested, okay? So let's see what's going on today. Spirit, what is your message for the collective right now? What's going on? Six of Wands reversed and strength. And then we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. And the Seven of Cups at the bottom. Okay, so the Six of Wands in reverse, feeling defeated, feeling unappreciated, undervalued, a fall from grace, a ruined reputation, feeling ridiculed, embarrassed, strength. The Page of Pentacles in reverse. This is so strange that this is coming out. Considering what I was contemplating this morning. Hold on, I'm going to keep going and then I'll see if Spirit wants me to talk about that, okay? Because I was thinking about my childhood. Okay, let's see. Why is the Six of Wands reversed? I don't know if I should share, so let's see. Six of Wands reversed. The Two of Wands. This has to do with choices and family and a home, family life. Oh my, what a weird coincidence. All right. Yeah, choices, family, and home. Okay, so story time. I was thinking this morning about how I grew up, confirmation, and how my upbringing actually affected me in a lot of ways that I didn't realize until I was older. I feel like that's normal, right? One thing about the way that I grew up is that both of my parents, my mom has a PhD and my dad has a master's degree. So education and success and achievement was always like really important in my household, okay? Growing up, there was like a lot of pressure to be perfect and to be really good in school and to, you know, achieve and get a lot of recognition, right? So I feel like that's very interesting that this comes out this way, because the Six of Wands in reverse is the opposite of that, right? It's like feeling like you're not being celebrated, or you're not being rewarded, or you're not being like praised or told that people are proud of you, right? And the Page of Pentacles in reverse also is like a lack of reward. Okay, so this could be like a situation where growing up you might have felt like, or you might have been conditioned. This is more like conditioned behavior, right? It's conditioning, where you think that, or you are conditioned to believe that when you do a really good job or you work really hard, then you get a reward for your good behavior or for your good honor roll, right? For your choices, family life, home life. I mean, even with the Six of Wands in reverse, this could be like feeling like the black sheep of the family. Yeah, this is definitely the energy of like the choices that you make being based off of achievement, or feeling like you have to get to a certain goal or something like that. Let's see, why strength here? So you could have had a similar upbringing. Okay, the Eight of Wands. The Sun, Leo energy, strength in the Sun. And the Four of Pentacles, a feeling of safety, stability, strength, courage, resilience. Something about safety, a feeling of safety and stability. Yeah, it has to do with like values, you know, like the values that you get from your parents growing up, like the things that they instill in you of how to be and how to act and how to look and how to dress, right? Okay, Page of Pentacles reverse. The Ace of Wands. The Four of Cups. Yeah, this is like taking action, but then there's like no reward. Right? Or there's a lack, or it feels like there's no investment, or there's like you're not getting anything out of it. Right? I don't know if you guys have also felt this, but this full moon, this last week, I've had so much come up for me, like from the deepest parts of my psyche. I hope I'm not the only one going through this, all right? I've been going through a lot of shadow work. Like, why are you the way you are? Who were you growing up? You know, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like it's kind of interesting that this is coming up here, this family life, home life, and the decisions that you make in life, even as an adult, may be stemming a lot from the way that you grew up with your family, okay? The World in reverse. Yeah, a cycle here hasn't closed out. No closure. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, feeling like there's no closure because there hasn't been like some sort of an achievement, right? So, yeah, you feel like you only have some sort of success when you have the achievement. So it's like, yeah, this is like you're only successful if you get straight A's. You're only successful if you have that achievement, if you get this award, if you get this job, if you get this degree, like only then are you successful. And if you don't make that achievement and you don't get that, or you're like putting in effort somewhere where there's no reward, for someone that grew up like that, that can feel like where's the closure? Like something doesn't feel closed, it feels like open-ended. And the Four of Cups is like, where's my reward? Right? I feel like this is important for interpersonal relationships, because if you grew up in a household like what I'm describing here, with parents that were very achievement oriented, okay, like if you don't go to college, then you're failing at life basically, or if you're not, like that's not a real job, or like you need to do this, you need to do that, like a lot of pressure in the community, okay? So if you grew up that way, and then you get in a relationship, and a relationship is just kind of like an open-ended thing, like it just, you might treat relationships like they're also this linear thing, where there has to be a goal at the end so that you feel like you have succeeded in this because of an achievement. But this is very subconscious. This kind of thought process, very, very subconscious. And I can only express it because this is literally what I was thinking this morning. So it's kind of creeping me out. Feeling like you can't find closure here, right? Because like I haven't gotten an achievement yet, so I don't feel like I've achieved something yet, right? Interesting. What's the Six of Wands reverse? The Knight of Cups. Yeah, some sort of an offer. Okay, somebody coming towards someone in love. You know, and this is like even words of affirmation, right? Words of affirmation, like coming towards someone saying like, you did a great job, you know, I'm so proud of you, or, you know, here's your offer, I'm going to give something to you to show you that I'm so proud of you, you know, it's something like that. Childhood, past. Yeah, it like for you growing up, okay, I feel like this is like a collective energy. So, but whatever is going on in this reading, it's like you might have felt like growing up you had to, like your parents were only proud of you, or your parents only celebrated you when you were the way that they wanted you to be. Like, you know, if you were Queen of Cups coming out, like if you like if you weren't the way that they wanted you to be, it's like you're a disappointment kind of a thing. Like, why are you so disappointing? Why are you embarrassing us in the community? Like that kind of a thing. You know, this is like more centered around when parents put a lot of weight on how the community sees them as parents, right? It's like your behavior is affecting how people see me in the community, and you need to think about how you're reflecting on me in the community, right? So that puts a lot of pressure on a child to be a certain way, and when you feel like you can't achieve that, then, and especially if you have siblings that can achieve it and you feel like you're the kind of the odd one out, like, yeah, okay, what else? The Three of Cups, siblings. I was just saying it. Three, either this is siblings or this is like the community, people in the community, right? So, exactly. The subconscious. Deep emotions. The Temperance, yeah, something that is being balanced out right now, or something that is healing. Maybe this is what you've been healing also the last couple of years. What else? The Two of Cups, yeah, relationships. Yeah, this could also affect how you are in relationships, right? Like any kind of relationships, okay? The Seven of Wands and the Hierophant. Yeah, this is like school, okay? School, college, institutions, rules, traditions, order, you know, a certain way of being, the way that you have to present yourself. It's like very clean. You know, someone with a high title, right? Or this is what your parents wanted from you. They wanted you to have a high title because they have a high title or something like that, right? It's a lot of pressure. A lot of rules, like strict, it's giving me strict rules, strict regulations. But the Seven of Wands also giving me a bit of like rebellion. Okay, so you could have gone through a period of your life where you started to rebel against all the rules. Because it's not about the rules, it's about the confinement. It's about this pressure, you know? Let's see, what's that about? The rebellion is what it's giving me, the Seven of Wands. Triggers, turmoil, resentment, lessons. Yeah, there's a trigger here. There's a trigger from your family life, from your home life. Something about not being heartbroken. Oh, not showing that you're sad. Having to hide pain. Having to hide how you feel on the inside. Grief and feeling lost. Yeah, that's this. That's, you know, you have to hide how you feel on the inside. You have to keep it to yourself because of all these different expectations, right? I mean, this is even like when you have maybe parents that are a bit cold, like they don't really understand emotions of children, or, you know, teenage emotions maybe, so they don't really understand you and they make you feel like they don't understand you at all. Okay, so this is really giving me having to hide a lot of pain, hide a lot of sadness, because of the pressure. This could even be like, I'm just getting this now for some reason. I'm just getting this. It's like, it could be that when you were around like your family or your home life or your parents, like you were a high achiever because of the pressure you felt in that particular environment, right? But if you were away from parents, maybe that's when you could have like broke down, because there's not that strict environment, that very controlled, strict environment of needing to, you know, mask yourself all the time. So then you like, when you didn't have that environment around you where you felt like you had to mask and be a certain way and achieve a certain way, that's when you could have had some sort of breakdown. It's kind of giving me like when you fall, like there's a strict structure, even if you're struggling under the structure, even if you're like having a really hard time and there's a part of you wanting to rebel against the structure, or but that structure kind of keeps you in a place of achieving, right? So when that falls away, that's kind of when it's like all of a sudden you're like, I'm seeing it like, let's say you're like slime. Okay, you're like slime, but you're being kept in a box that's very tight, right? And you don't really like the box and you're like trying to get out of the box, right? But it's keeping you in a certain form, in a certain way. And once that box gets removed, you just kind of like all over the place, right? That's kind of what this feels like. So talking in reverse, yeah, not talking about it, or even like the feeling of not being able to talk about it, you know? So you might have grown up in a household where you felt like you couldn't talk about how you were feeling. Okay, you felt like you had to keep a lot of things to yourself, a lot of your sadness. And there could be different reasons for that. I mean, for one, it could be like you just felt like genuinely your parents did not understand you. Like they just did not have the capability of feeling into what you're going through. Like you just didn't feel understood, right? Or it's even like, you know how sometimes parents will say things to like, why are you like this? Like, why are you like this? You know? So like generally them not understanding what your problem is, basically. You're like, hmm, that's kind of what this feels like, not being able to talk about it. I mean, it's even kind of like let's say you had depression as a child, okay, or as a teenager. Let's say you had like struggles, right? Emotional struggles. It's even kind of like when you have parents that make you feel like it's it's annoying that you're like that, you know? It's like you're a burden, that you're so sad, like snap out of it. Like what's your problem? Like you have a great life, you should be grateful. Like why are you sad, you know? Like you don't have a reason to be sad, like that. So then you shut down. You just stop talking about how you feel because you feel like no one's going to understand you anyways, right? Yeah, you become a person that's just high masking, you know, really good at that. Yeah, now the truth is coming to light, okay? Things are coming to light, the dragonfly. About talking. So why is strength here? The King of Wands, Leo. Yeah, strong Leo. The Page of Pentacles. Yeah, something about this reward, like getting an investment or getting, or what is that? Employment, or what is that about? The Two of Swords, something that was not seen clearly here, or somebody couldn't understand something. Someone was in two minds about something. About what? About strength. About your strength, or about your confidence, or your resilience, or your courage. Axe, breakup, separation, stop the pattern, silent treatment. Somebody was in two minds because of your silence. Yeah, this is giving me like, you are really good at hiding pain. Like it might take you a lot to be vulnerable. And if then, it's usually only when you're already maybe having a bad day. So then you can, it will come out. But something about your silence. Giving and receiving affection. Something about giving and receiving affection. Or something being transactional. Something about giving and receiving affection, or giving something of yourself to receive affection. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's like this energy of how someone grew up, right? Or like childhood conditioning. It's like, if I give this of myself, and if I'm really good and I do everything my parents ask of me, then I'll get affection. Then they'll tell me that I'm proud. Then they'll tell me I'm doing a good job. Okay, then I'll be, worth talking. It's even like, especially if you have siblings, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but it's kind of like, well, a lot of you probably can. It's like when parents, you hear them calling the uncles, the aunts, the grandparents on the phone, and they're like talking so proud about all of their children, like, oh yes, this child just achieved this and they did this and I'm so proud. And then when it comes to you or someone, it's like, oh yeah, they're doing fine, Yeah, it's a conditioned behavior. Interesting. Date, meeting someone new, dating, plan, set a date. A date? What about a date? A date? Kissing on a date? What the hell is that about? An Emperor in the reverse. Somebody that's someone that's disempowered, or someone that makes bad decisions. Someone that is power hungry, controlling. Something about kissing on the first date. Like, I don't know if this is like a parent, like a dad figure. Something about kissing on the first date. I don't know. 9 of Wands. Feeling like you have to be defensive, or you have to defend yourself. You're the wounded warrior. Something about your strength, resilience, fighter spirit. Something about warrior spirit, not giving up. A breakup. Lovers in reverse. The High Priestess and Justice. This is even giving me like someone just making really bad decisions in love. All right, so maybe you've made a couple bad decisions in relationships. That's what this gives me, kind of, right? It's like, why you always pick the wrong kind of people? Like, you've picked a couple bad apples. That's kind of what this gives me, right? So what's this about? High Priestess and Justice. The truth, okay? So now the truth is coming out, or there's clarity, truth, and revelation here about healing the inner child. Transformation, growth, changed mind. So something is changing here. It's transforming. This is about you healing your inner child. Yeah. Healing the inner child. Okay, so what's this Sun? The sense of stability, security. The Wheel of Fortune and the Tower. All right, so there's a big revelation here, okay? A big shocking moment. I feel like this is for you. You're having a sudden epiphany, or it's like a big change in your life where there's something that's, it's like a floodgate that opens, basically. The sunlight comes through, shows you something about yourself. You're learning about yourself, really. But that knowledge will help you heal. You know, that inner child that just, you know, is taking baby steps, just like everyone else, okay? Trying to figure stuff out here. The Queen of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, so something here about an achievement, a gift, a blessing, an item, an object, a reward. Is what it gives me. Okay, let's see. What's that about? A cassette, conditioned thinking. Exactly. Outdated thinking, conditioning. Conditioning. It comes from conditioned behavior, learned behavior. Yeah. It's like growing up with having to be a high achiever or something like that, thinking that there's always a reward, and if you're not good enough, and if you didn't do a good enough job, then you don't get the reward. Only the ones that do the best work and do the most work and are, you know, high achievers, only they get the reward. So if you're in a relationship and there's no reward, and you're like, wait, where's my reward? You know, for someone that grew up like this, it could feel like you're failing at something. Like I'm a failure. I must be failing because I'm not getting the achievement. Like where's the goalpost? Like I need a goalpost, right? I mean, I noticed this like just generally in my life. Like I need goalposts, or else I feel like I'm just kind of like stumbling through life. Like I need to know what I'm working towards. Okay, I need to know what the achievement is at the end, or else I'll feel like I'm just wasting time. Like I don't know what I'm doing. Like where am I going here, right? And this is similar. It is. So for you, it could be a weird feeling, just kind of moving through life, like going with the flow and not knowing, like what's the achievement, what's the reward here. You know, it's kind of like, so let's take a job situation, okay, a career. So I'll say there's two kinds of people, right? Well, there's probably more types of people, but just so to get in this energy, right? So there's the kind of people that they'll go into a job and they'll just say, okay, I'm just working here every day. Like, I don't really care. We'll just see where it takes me, right? And then there's people like you that go into a job with a goal in mind. It's like, well, okay, so I'll start here, but maybe I can go into that department, or I can change into that, or I can work my way up. You know, it's like you're already thinking about the end result because you need to know why you're working there or why you're doing what you're doing to make it even worthwhile, right? So if you're kind of just working at a job and there's no goal for you, you could kind of feel like, what am I doing? Like, it's kind of like open-ended. Something being open-ended could feel super uncomfortable for you. Okay? Like there's just no closure. It's like, okay, so it's just open-ended. Like I'm just expected to just like do nothing, and then what? You know? You don't like that feeling. All right? Because that's just not how you were raised, or that's just not how you were conditioned to think of like success in any way, or being successful, or you know, not failing at something, right? Abundance. Keep a positive mindset. Manifest exactly what you want. Right? In order for you to keep a positive mindset, you need to know what you want, or where you're going, or in order to manifest it, right? Abundance. Gratitude, bliss. Yeah, it's all about like being grateful for what you have. But that's also really hard to unlearn when you grew up in a place or in an environment where it wasn't about being grateful for what you have or who you are right now. It was like, how can you make yourself better? How can you be better? How can you reach more? How can you do more with your life? You know, it's like, you know, yeah. Like this will be like parents that, you know, you're working like a more non-conventional, non-traditional job, okay? And they'll be like, why don't you go back to school? Why don't you quit everything that you're doing right now? Just throw it all away and just go back to school. You need to go to school. Why aren't you doing that? Maybe you should go into this field, okay? You could do this, you could do that. And it's like, yeah, I know, but I'm doing this right now. Well, I think you don't really like that. You know, it's like always kind of making you feel like you gotta do something differently or be better, or like, you know, yeah. Wedding rings, marriage. Yeah, marriage, also a form of achievement, right? It's also a goalpost. It's a reward. It's an achievement. Okay, or maybe that's how it feels to some people, right? Or it could feel like that to you, subconsciously, unconsciously. Like you don't even realize that that's what this means to you. Is like that if you're not getting an achievement, that means that you're not successful. Or it's just open-ended. If it's like, okay, so if I'm in a relationship but there's no marriage, then like it's just like open-ended, and like and how do I know that I'm achieving something then, It's something like that. It's like, how do I know that I'm successful then if this is not the achievement? Like, where's the reward? And it's not that you're thinking this logically, like you're not thinking this consciously. Like this is something that just hits you out of nowhere, where you're like, oh, that's why I'm this way. So we're all doing a little bit of shadow work together in this reading. Okay, guys? Healthy choices. Right? Healing, yeah, it's all about healing heart. It's all about healing from heartbreak. Healing your heart. So that's what you could be doing right now. And you guys are helping me heal my heart as well, okay? Just like this reading. Now, it's all about taking the mask off sometimes, right? So, yeah, triggers. Things that trigger you in the past, or things that hurt in the past. Lessons. Turmoil from the past. Letting go and loving you, right? Ascending, transcending an obstacle. Yeah, this is a big one. Like for you or for someone in the collective, or this is just collective energy in general. This is a big one of transcending this obstacle, okay? Or ascending, having a new phase in your life, learning something about yourself, okay? Healing from heartbreak when it comes to letting go and loving you. And one thing that has to be let go of, I feel like, for one, is feeling like you're only successful if there's an achievement. Okay? Or you're only worthy or valuable if you get a reward. If there's a reward that proves that. It's kind of like, look, let's say you're an actor, right? And you're a great actor, or let's say you're a singer or something, okay? But you never get an award. You never win the Grammy or the Oscar or none of that. This is kind of like that mindset where you feel like you're only going to be good enough if you, at some point in your life, get that award. And if you don't, then that means you're just not that good. Okay, that's this energy, but apply it to anything. Apply it to school, apply it to education, to relationships, to marriage. It's that kind of conditioned behavior. And it's not that like you're thinking this like out of ego. It doesn't come from ego, or it doesn't come from wanting to be better than everyone else. That's not what it's about. It's about childhood. This comes from childhood. This comes from parents, okay, development, the way that you're raised, okay? So if you're in a household where your parents don't tell you like, hey, what's important is that you tried your best, okay? What's important is that you are doing what makes you happy. If you don't hear that kind of stuff, and all you hear is, maybe you should try out for this audition, because if you get that audition, then maybe you'll get that Oscar one day. And you want to try and be the best that you can be, okay? Because I kind of saw what you did back there, and that wasn't so good. So maybe we need to get you some more acting classes so that you're the best that you can be, because I feel like you can do better than that. Pressure, 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 right? So if you're a child and you're being pressured with that, then you think like, if I don't go to college, then I am a fucking failure. Like, I have to do that, or else what's going to become of me, right? Or if I don't get that award, then I'm just not that good of an actor, So it comes from this pressure to succeed. It comes from a pressure of like feeling like you're only gonna be good enough if that's the goal. if you reach the goal, right? So that's 100% conditioned behavior. Confirmation. And unlearning that is hard, because you kind of have to accept that. So, okay, so if I don't get an achievement, or if I don't reach a goal, or if I live my life open-ended and there's no reward, then, you know, you have to unwind that part of you as well and be comfortable with being successful with no award. But it's like ingrained, you get what I mean? It's like so deep that it's really hard to pull that one out. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. Okay, hope this helps. Let's just see maybe who's involved, and then a brother and June. Yeah, siblings. Look, mother and brother. Exactly. Gemini, yeah, family. Okay. November and January. Yes and no. Libra. I mean, it says November and January, but it could be like yeah and no. I don't know. Yes and no. December and July. That's all we got. Gemini, mother and brother. December, January, June, November, July. J, 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 J. J, 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 J. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Hope this helps, guys. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye.